Hey, welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right into it, shall we? Today, we're taking an architectural blueprint approach to really mastering the AB-410 certification exam. Look, if you're aiming to prove your skills in building advanced applications on the Microsoft Power Platform, you absolutely need a rock-solid foundation. We're way past the point of just throwing a few buttons on a screen. You are architecting full-blown solutions now, and that is exactly what we're going to construct together today. So let's break down how the AB-410 exam actually distributes its weight. Creating a foundation for intelligent apps, that makes up about 25 to 30% of the exam. Building business application logic and automation takes up the biggest chunk at 40 to 45%. But our focus today is squarely on that middle slice. We're talking about the critical 25 to 30% dedicated to creating intelligent apps. Specifically, we're going to zero in on the advanced Canvas apps and Copilot features that, quite frankly, separate the novices from the true experts. All right, here is our quick agenda for this explainer. 1. Conquering the AB-410 exam. 2. Mastering reusable app components. 3. Managing variables and collections. 4. Error handling and app testing. And 5. Building Copilot Studio agents. Starting with Section 1, Conquering the AB-410 exam. You know, when you sit down for this test, the stakes are high. Your understanding of structural app design is going to be tested right out of the gate. I mean, before you even think about bolting on advanced AI features or complex business process flows, the AB-410 exam explicitly requires you to know how to design Canvas apps using data with a strict focus on core usability. You literally must be able to design apps for accessibility, performance, responsiveness, and usability. It is the absolute bedrock of your app. Think about it. If your app isn't responsive or accessible to all users, the most advanced features in the world just won't save it. You've got to keep this foundational requirement top of mind on test day. Moving to Section 2, Mastering Reusable App Components. You can think of these as the prefab building blocks of our architectural blueprint. When we look at the official study guide for automating business processes from Canvas apps, there are 3 very specific pillars of reusability that are explicitly tested. First, named formulas. Second, user-defined functions. And third, component libraries. You absolutely need to know how to create these reusable components. They're essential because, well, they prevent you from reinventing the wheel every single time you need to execute standard logic across your app. Let's zoom in a bit on one of those pillars. User-defined functions are basically custom functions created by the maker to encapsulate and reuse specific logic across a Canvas app. Instead of copying and pasting the exact same complex formula onto 5 different screens, which, let's be honest, is a great way to make your future self hate you, you encapsulate it just once. Understanding this doesn't just save you massive amounts of time during real-world app development. Knowing when and how to apply them is pretty much a guaranteed way to score points on the AB-410 exam. All right, Section 3, Managing Variables and Collections. Okay, so we've laid out the structural components. Now let's talk about the plumbing of the app, how we actually manage state and how data flows through our screens. The exam syllabus specifically calls out your ability to manage variables and collections. To absolutely ace this part of the test, you'll want to keep this mental binary locked in. Variables, those are for your single data points or individual records. Collections, on the other hand, are for your tables of data, multiple rows and columns held temporarily in memory. Having this super clear, simple distinction memorized is going to help you instantly navigate those tricky scenario-based questions you'll definitely face on test day. Section 4, Error Handling and App Testing. So, we've built our structure, we've installed the plumbing. Now it's time to fortify the app by actively inspecting it for weaknesses. Which brings us to a fundamental question. How do you prove your app actually works? Right? It's one thing to build it, but the AB-410 exam wants to know that you aren't just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best when you hit publish. Proactive error handling and rigorous testing, they're just non-negotiable skills for a professional app maker. And here is your primary diagnostic tool to prove it. The syllabus explicitly states you must know how to test Canvas apps, including using Monitor. I like to think of Monitor as your app's X-ray machine. It allows you to inspect the internal events of your Canvas app in real time. So when a user clicks a button and something fails silently, Monitor gives you that deep trace of network requests and formula evaluations so you can troubleshoot exactly what went wrong. The really crucial point here is mastering this dual requirement. Your first task is implementing error handling. That means managing your logic, using the right formulas to actively catch and gracefully handle app faults so your user doesn't hit a dead end. But catching errors in logic just isn't enough on its own. The second task is testing those Canvas apps, which requires you to utilize tools like Monitor for deep inspection. You've got to be completely comfortable doing both of these things to pass this section of the exam.
And finally, Section 5, Building Copilot Studio Agents.
This right here is the smart home finish of our blueprint. It brings us to the most cutting-edge, forward-looking requirement of the AB-410 exam. Let's look at how this builds from a standard application into an absolute AI powerhouse. The exam tests your ability to seamlessly integrate artificial intelligence. First, you build your Canvas app and automate your business processes. Then, you access the integrated AI tools within the environment. Finally, and hey, this is a very specific line item on the study guide you need to know, you create a Copilot Studio agent directly from a Canvas app. You are quite literally mapping standard app interfaces and logic right into conversational intelligent agents. And this just brilliantly illustrates where the entire platform is heading. Modern app makers are no longer just writing code, they are orchestrating AI. By mastering the AB-410 exam requirements, from the basics of accessibility all the way up to deploying Copilot Studio agents directly from your Canvas apps, you're proving that you are completely ready for the AI-driven future of app development. So as you prepare for test day, I want you to ask yourself, are you just building basic apps, or are you architecting truly intelligent solutions? Keep that in mind, structure your study plan around this blueprint, and you are going to do great. Thanks for learning with me on this explainer.